Do you ever find yourself intellectually happy but not actually feeling it? Maybe you have achieved something and you know you did a good job, but you just don't feel any emotion whatsoever. This is something I see all the time in my clients who are recovering from chronic illnesses. This emotional shutdown is not your fault. There's a reason behind it. Sometimes it comes from growing up in a family or culture where emotions were seen as weak. Sometimes it's because you learned to cope with big emotions by staying busy or by distracting yourself. When life has been overwhelming, we often learn to push away big emotions like grief, anger, sadness, or disappointment. But here's the thing, you cannot selectively numb emotions. Either you feel all of them or you feel none. This is often why joy and excitement also get muted. So, whatever be the reason of your emotional flatness, the truth is, if you can't feel it, you can't heal it. Feeling emotions is an essential part of feeling alive. Feeling pain and losses is a necessary step to finding happiness and gratitude. And this brings me to my client Jane. She sets an excellent example of how to go really slow and gentle when embracing your emotions after a long period of disconnection from them. Jane is in her 40s. She came to me with post surgery central sensitization, long COVID, rheumatoid arthritis, and thyroid imbalances. At this point in her recovery journey, she was doing very well. Her pain was between 1 and 2, and her energy reserves were building up again. And she had just started her own business, a lifelong dream of hers. But emotionally, she felt nothing. So Jane decided to do parts work to explore this flatness. She imagined sitting with her inner parts at a dinner table. All her parts were chatting, eating, laughing, except one part, standing quietly in the shadows. Jane called out, "Why are you standing back there so quietly? Come sit with me." The part came closer, sat beside her, but still quiet. Jane asked gently, "You don't seem excited. Why this flatness?" The part responded, "I'm sad." Jane asked, "What are you sad about?" She said, "I'm grieving for a life I thought we would have, with people, conversations, and laughter. Everything is so dull and boring." This is when Jane saw an image of her 10-year-old self, who she affectionately calls Janie. She turned to her and said, "You're right, Janie. Our friends walked away during our illness. We live far from the family. It's hard to make new connections now." Janie responded, "I know. I understand." So then Jane asked, "Is there something I can do for you?" And Janie said, "Hold my hand and allow me to feel sad. Just be with me while I feel sad." Jane visualized herself sitting with Janie, holding her hand and comforting her. She didn't rush it. She didn't try to fix the feeling of sadness. She just held space for Janie. And then Jane said, "I'm so sorry, Janie. I wanted to give you so much more. I know there are some happy and amazing things in our life today, but there's also been so many losses and so much suffering along the way." Janie responded, "I know, but you did the best you could, and it's okay. I'm all right. I just needed a minute to feel sad." Jane visualized herself hugging Janie with love and compassion. "You're such a sincere and wonderful girl, Janie. You always have been. I'm so proud of you. I'm so sorry that you didn't get to laugh, be free, or have fun as a child. You had to grow up so quickly. I don't want you to carry this burden anymore, though. Let me carry this now. I want you to be free and do what young children do." Jane then saw an image of Janie smiling, getting up, and skipping playfully. This partswork session was a turning point for Jane. By making space for sadness, she was able to make that first crack in her flatness. She saw her inner child smile and skip playfully, and that's when joy was able to return. Emotional numbness is often a sign that you have been living in a state of survival. If you want to reconnect with joy, you also have to reconnect with grief, anger, and loss. And the good news is, you don't have to dive in all at once. You can start gently, dip your tippy toes in, create a safe space for your feelings, and let your inner parts know that you're listening. Because when the parts feel safe with you, that's when real healing and remission becomes possible.